Welcome to Alter. I'm your host, Nicole Meline. This podcast explores the practice of transformation, of growth, as a dance between hustle and flow, altering, changing, growing, becoming, and altering, offering, surrendering, opening to divine conspiracy. It's the dance of the leader, athlete, creator, entrepreneur, committed not just to optimal expression, but to exceptional being. So here are adventures in sweat and divine conspiracy. Awake to all the grit, dirt, and complexity of our world. Alert to the graces that come alongside the struggle, the hustle. Encouragement, an infusion of courage for the moments you need it most. I'm your host, Nicole Meline. Welcome to Alter. This podcast episode is sponsored by Ritual Multivitamins. What a perfectly aligned brand, right? In all of my research on nutrition for my own training and my course HIIT, I've looked into a lot of vitamins and supplements and have really high standards. I love the quality of Ritual's ingredients, their smart subscription model, which means I never have to remember to order more from potentially shady suppliers, and their packaging, which is so beautiful. I actually love making Ritual vitamins a part of my sacred morning routine. Learn more and order at ritual.com/heartward and use code HEARTWARD, HEARTWARD, for 30% off your first order. Hi, loves. I'm going to be sharing a handful of episodes over the next few days and weeks as we move through the holidays and toward a new year with a vision of brief, sacred moments to bring you into your heart during what can be a really intense time. I don't know if this is the most wonderful time of year, but I do know it's the most time of year, the most emotional, the most overwhelming, maybe the most disappointing or lonely or exhausting. So I hope to infuse more breath and stillness and magic into yours. I want to give us a word for this season. Savor. Let's breathe into this word, this state. Savor. What do you think of or feel a memory of in your body? I think immediately of a rich, dark chocolate truffle, or a first bite of some amazing, complex dish that blows your mind with how delicious and surprising it is. It's often that second bite, right? You take with an intention to savor. Rich, complex, long-aged, or slow-cooked food slows us down to savor. Or someone's answer in a conversation that's so full of nuance and vulnerability, it instantly slows you down and pulls you in. Or a poem that might be so short, maybe just 3 or 4 lines, and take you to some profound and delicate place. Or this time of year, the holidays, the holy days. The way we bring the full presence that feels satisfying on the other side is to savor, to really be here, to be now, to have as many moments as possible where we lose track of time because we're so there, to be with all that's going on in your heart, all of the muchness that the season might shake up in your heart, to be with it, to savor it even, and to take some time to savor this past year, to really taste this past year before you move on from it. And this eating metaphor, it turns out, really works as an image of integration, to integrate this past year, to metabolize in the same way that you metabolize food, to ask a bunch of questions of it so you can begin to glean the wisdom of this past year. that the wisdom you can harvest wouldn't be lost to you, that you would take time and attention to harvest it. I've made 2 tools to support you in integrating, in savoring this past year: the Integrate Journal and the Integrate Workshop. I'm leading the Integrate Workshop on December 20th, and I would love to share it with you, either live online or afterward with the replay. You can register at nicolemeline.com/visionary. And when you go to that page, you'll see that the Integrate Workshop is included in the Visionary Dream Year course. Or you can register for just the workshop by scrolling down to the bottom of that page. The workshop includes a 50% off coupon for the Integrate Journal, which you can order at shop.nicolemeline.com. Both the workshop and journal are linked in this episode's show notes as well. I'm going to be sharing some big lessons I am harvesting from this year and asking some surprising, illuminating questions for you to explore in your own integration. Ready for a curveball? But stay with me. I've always disliked the term ex-boyfriend, ex-spouse, ex-boss, ex-friend, ex-whatever. We probably got that word from exit, as in, this is a relationship you've exited. But it subtly suggests you have exited. And we know that's not really how any significant relationship or significant chapter in our lives works in our psyche. We can practically or legally have exited a professional or romantic relationship, but chances are it hasn't exited us. It lives in us. It shapes us. It may go on shaping us for a long time. My favorite alternate I've heard to an ex is a wasband instead of ex-husband. Was-wife doesn't have quite the same ring. But how great is that? It actually subtly acknowledges that this is what was. This existed rather than simply was exited from. One of the greatest lessons I've learned from one of my beloved teachers, Father Richard Rohr, is the mantra, transcend and include. We grow beyond something by both including it and transcending it. To grow as whole people who have integrated our past rather than merely passing through or exiting, unaware of what trauma we're still carrying, we can't just transcend, rise above, rise beyond. We have to include, transcend and include, savor our past to be able to savor our present. Identifying and embracing your lineage, where and who you've come from, is essential to any pathway to greater wholeness. Remembering your own story, stitching the pieces of your story together, allows you to absorb it as wisdom, to transcend it, to grow beyond who you've been rather than run away from it. Honoring and thanking the scaffolding that allowed you to become who you are, even as that scaffolding becomes unnecessary, even as the building eventually gets built. Your contents become more essential than the containers that held you as you grew. To integrate our lives is to practice wholeness, to be able to say this blessing over our past: everything belongs. So I wish for us moments to savor this past year, to savor, to fully feel all the muchness of this season and all those aches or hope can reveal about the truth of your heart and your bravest dreams you're holding still. I'll be creating a cozy, sacred space to do this in the Integrate Workshop and Visionary course. And I'd love to share the Integrate Journal with you as a guide to savor and learn from it all. I would love to hear what this podcast has stirred in you. So please rate and review it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share it with a friend or on social media. Tag me at Nicole Meline and at Alter Together so we can send up some smoke signals for like-hearted community as we alter together.